All right, welcome to another beautiful day right here on Oweleke TV. This is Monday, and we are here to bring you to speed with the headlines from the day. My name is Ramsey Enoch, and I have Anthony Nwokolo right here. Good morning, Anthony.
Good morning, Ramsey. How was your weekend?
Beautiful. You can see that for yourself.
Absolutely.
And also, Michael Ekene.
It's good to be here always.
Why are you doing one eye for me? What do you mean?
He's trying to tell you he had an amazing weekend.
Amazing
One
weekend.
eye.
All right, quickly, the headlines for the day, beginning from the leadership newspaper. 28 million housing deficit, stringent policy in pending home ownership. Then this one says Northwest APC voids Ganduje, Jaji orders suspension. Then the big story, the kicker says despite strikes, falling standards, 67 varsities produce 6,464 first-class graduates in 3 years. Details read on page 4. Just two riders to that story. Experts attribute trend to technology and others. The second rider says that stakeholders seek adequate funding, vocational skills. Adequate funding, then vocational skills. Very necessary. Then lastly, from the leadership newspaper, Army foils coup attempt in Democratic Republic of Congo. Details read on page 7 of the leadership newspaper. That's going to be all from the leadership. Over to you, Antonia.
All right, thank you, Ramsey. Let's take a look at the Daily Times newspaper this morning. And the big story that we have here, the kicker says, Speaker to Ganduje constitutes committees to reconcile aggrieved APC members. We'll have a rider underneath which says seeks support for party structures, and that's on page 4. Moving on, Tinubu approves infracore for Green Zone. Ngelale chairs steering committee. And the next headline we're taking, seizures. That's the kicker of the story. NDLEA declares couple wanted. Naps 4 suspected barons. That's on page 2. And finally, from the Daily Times newspaper this morning, NIDCOM condemned alleged killing of Nigerian in South Africa. That you can find on page 11. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, Antonia. To the Punch, the most widely read newspaper. And the kicker of the big story, Dangote petrol supply. Federal government may slash 6 trillion naira fuel imports. Another liner to that story is 520 billion naira monthly fuel import expected to drop as Dangote begins supply in June. And we have other stories on the Punch. Oil production nears 1.7 million per barrel. NNPC, this of that is on page 27 of the Punch. MPC may raise interest rate against Tuesday. Details of that news on page 29 of the Punch. CBN SEC fined 9 banks, 678 million. Details on page 27. Now, still on the Punch, helicopter crash. Iranians pray for missing president, minister. Details of that is on page 43 of the Punch. 8 manufacturers suffer 627 billion forex losses. Details on page 2 of the Punch. FG begins housing construction in 4 states. Over to you, Mr. Ramsey.
Thank you very much, Michael, for those headlines. Let's quickly take you to the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. To the right-hand side of the Daily Trust newspaper, Abbas to Ganduje. Raise committee to reconcile aggrieved APC members. There have been some kind of disunity in APC. Well, we thought it was just PDP and Labour Party, but then APC also having issues. This you can't take away, where there is some conflict of interest among politicians. More pressure on Naira ahead positive interest rate hike. I take that again, possible, not positive. More pressure on Naira ahead possible interest rate hike. Then that takes us to the big story. The big story says that 2 years after, 100 new air traffic controllers redundant. 3 riders to that story. NCAT lacks capacity to train us. Aviation College silent. Then the last rider says that it takes time to train cadets. This is coming from NAMA. Details read on page 4 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And this one says that Iran president minister on board crashed helicopter. Then 12 killed in Taraba, Imo auto crash. Details read on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper. And finally from here, Man City win historic 4th straight Premier League title Congratulations to Man City. It's not easy. Winning it the fourth time. This is straight back to back, the fourth time. Congratulations to Man City and congratulations to Arsenal. Congratulations to Liverpool and all other clubs in England. This is going to be the size of the newspaper review for this morning. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about the first class that was backed by some graduates from universities in Nigeria just within 3 years. We will return after this break.
Follow us on our social media handles at Oweleke TV. Visit our website at www.oweleketv for a thrilling journey. Oweleke TV, rising star at the fairground.
Welcome back from that break. It is still outnumbered live on your screen on this beautiful Monday morning with Ramsey, Antonia, and Michael, reaching you live on the red from FCT. The big story, like we said, is really big. Despite strike action, falling standards of education in Nigeria, 67 varsities produce 6,464 first-class graduates in 3 years. Despite the katakata that we're having in the education system, a lot of people have been clamoring for an overhaul of the educational system of the country. But then, come to think about it, 67 varsities producing this number of first-class graduates. Some of the writers to that story said it's as a result of technology and other things may have played out because a lot of strike actions. Then you begin to ask, which universities produce these 6,464 first-class graduates? Could it be private universities? Because some persons will tell you, well, if it is private universities, we know maybe it was being facilitated for some reasons. We are not saying it was being facilitated, but other persons may think maybe it was done that way because some varsities may actually want to gain more patronage and this comes out. Then another person will be saying, well, we have this number of first-class graduates. Will they fit into the economic situation of the country? How soon are they going to get jobs? Because why people go to school is to earn a successful living. As it is right now, Antonia, what do you make of this? 67 varsities coming up with 6,464 first-class graduates in 3 years, despite the strike actions, the standard of education, so many things happening in Nigeria. So what do you make of these graduates?
Okay, so first of all, I agree with the first rider that says technology, coming from the aspect that technology has played a great role in educational sector. I remember when I was in uni, in 100 level, I used to go to the library to check for books to read, and gradually when I discovered I could use there was internet, but when I found that I could actually input my course code and the course title and I'll get an entire PDF on what the course is about, and I can read up before the lecture, before the end of the semester, everything that course entails, I can get it on my phone. It reduced the number of times I went to the library, so I could easily get those information. Even for assignments, for presentations we had to do in school, Google was helping out, you understand?
Uncle G.
Yes, Uncle G was helping out in all of those. So I totally agree with that technology has played a great role in the times past where you have students go to libraries where you don't even have some of these books, but now you can also get free copies online, and that also aids. But with this number of graduates, first-class graduates, this should not come to the NUC, or the regulatory body of universities, that let's continue the way we have been, since with the strike actions, with the falling standards, we're still churning out graduates. This should actually serve as a way to encourage them to go back to standard, because let's look at it. If the environment is more conducive, that is to say the students will be motivated to even do more, because with this current situation, we have this number of graduates. Let's not take a look at other factors. We have this number of first-class graduates. How much more if the educational standard is raised, if there are more infrastructure, if there are good lecture halls, if salaries of lecturers are being paid on time, it would also reflect in the results of the students.
All right, Michael, what do you think about this? How many, they're not looking at the number of universities that we have in this country and looking at the number of these first class graduates. Can we say the universities are doing well despite the frustration that is coming from some authorities?
Antonia spoke about technology being advancing knowledge. It is pertinent to know that there are salient points you have to know. The old order was the few and very best are selected meritoriously to be awarded first-class degrees in our universities. Right now, it is expedient to note. Okay, let's talk about the positive side is there, but it has also played a role in complacency and indolence among students. What do I mean? Finding out students finding out how to copy note nowadays in schools. You find out that students don't go to classes. In fact, the few from wealthy and very affluent homes won't even go to class, and they are the ones that are giving first class. Now, if we want to take it from the old order where our fathers got this meritoriously, is it the order of the day right now? Let me talk about the graduates that we have on the streets, half-baked, unwholesome, unintelligent.
Some graduates, not
some
all
graduates, not all
I didn't say
graduates.
Not all.
No, I said
yes,
some. I said some
yeah.
because I'm a graduate too.
Okay.
Proudly I'm graduate. Yeah. All right. Most of the graduates coming out right now are half-baked. If there's 100%, we'll have 60 or 50 that are still, they do not even know what they went to school to study. Some were in school, but they were busy on their system doing other stuffs. Some people were okay, they learned skills while in school, but then you find out that most of them are not even employable. Comes to an interview, cannot juxtapose between the interview integrities and what it entails to be employed. So most private organizations will find, okay, graduates come for interview, you're not qualified. Now we have unemployed graduates on the street who have resorted to so many other things because while in school they were playing.
I think I like that.
Or the lecturers were not even empowered to go to classes. The reason why ASU keeps going on strike is poor lecturers' welfare.
Now that you even raised this issue of lecturers, it just reminds me of the situation in some public universities where you have a lecture hall that will take as much as 500 students to 1,000 students.
Some will be outside.
And some will be outside.
Hanging on the window.
Chairs. Some will stay by the window.
What of public
There's no
address
public
system?
address system. I was
Thank you.
getting to that. And then a lecturer that you've not paid for the last how many months will come and start straining his or her voice to teach. Those at the back will not hear.
Do you know that some even
happens.
come to the class and they transfer aggression to the
They'll
students?
transfer the aggression.
How do you learn?
So it's just
under
it's
such
just a
condition?
circle.
Well, I think we've had this number of graduates. I think what I want to say is that every graduate, as you're coming out of school, get a skill. All right, get a skill. If you're in school, be very serious because no matter what you do, if you maybe maneuver your way or maybe buy through your way through the university, if you come out, you'll be faced with the reality.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when you are saying it like this, they don't know the gravity, but then by the time you come out, you know it. Congratulations to these students that have graduated, the 6,400
The ones
and
who got it meritoriously.
the ones who got it meritoriously.
If you bought it with your money, I don't know what to say to you.
If you bought it with your money, then when you come out, because
Time will tell.
Time will tell. All right, well, this is going to be the size of the big story on Outnumbered this morning. We've been able to let you know what's happening, especially from the universities, despite the strike action, the fallen standard, the Jaqua syndrome, and everything. Some persons are still doing their best. What we will want to say is that keep doing your best. One day, it's going to pay off, all right? Don't be like others. Don't be carried away by social media, because social media can actually be deceptive sometimes. A lot of fake lives there. All right. Thank you, Antonia. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
My name is Ramsey Enoch. We'll see you again, same time, same station tomorrow. Bye-bye for now.